Hello everyone, a special edition of Kick-Ons, a gather round exclusive with Adelaide royalty in Cane Corns. Is there a bigger name in South Australia than the Corns name? And Josh Jenkins, right on the edge of greatness over in Adelaide as well. Cane, welcome, mate.
A couple of South Australian legends you've got on the panel today. Can't wait for it. It's amazing what they do over there, and it's a great celebration of the state and footy and some cracking games, which I'm looking forward to discussing with you, Richo.
Gather round, my friend. You would have been elite at gather round at your best.
Yes, well, made my debut at Gather Round last year, and look, it's a fantastic concept, of course. Was more than happy to sit it out this year, but my services will be required. But looking forward to talking footy. I tell you what, Friday night footy is going to be very, very exciting. We'll get into that shortly. But we haven't been doing our best work on the feed, but a few others have.
They certainly have. Before we get to a young man or a young woman that we need to expose, because we don't know, and that is Isda. Check out that. That is unbelievable.
Take us through that, Richo.
That is an 11-leg multi, Kano, if you don't mind. Took $12 into 5,000.
You're kidding me.
There's 72 followers for Isda, and just get around that. An account.
Yes,
that's absolutely brilliant.
Unbelievable.
And you learnt a very valuable lesson last week.
I've learned a couple of valuable lessons.
You went with the Gold Coast Suns at the line, which was 4.5 points, and they won by 1 point.
Oh, it's a disaster. Late goals. I'm just a little bit out of form. I'm Melbourne at the moment, and the culture of my feed is up in the air. I need to sort that out.
Yep.
But we will turn it around. It's a long year.
6,000 followers of the feed for Cane, 9,000 plus for JJ, and for Kick-Ons, 54.
Okay.
And we need to lift. So get around us if you don't mind.
For that.
Can we start with Friday night? Because this should be elite, Collingwood and Sydney.
Yeah, I think so. I really like Sydney in this game. No Schultz, no De Goey, no Houston, 3 key players out. And I don't like Collingwood's depth at the best of times. Their best 22 is really rock solid, and we've seen that. But once that starts to get tested, there's not a whole lot there. So 213 for the Swans. I really like it, JJ. Neutral venue. And the Swans in pretty good form.
Really exciting to see these two teams on neutral territory. I'm interested in their gun mid. So we know Errol Goulden's not there. They're still missing him. I had the Swans last week against North Melbourne. Couldn't speak more highly about the evolution, maybe the Dean Cox style of coaching. But these two guys, they're two superstars. Now, I don't think anyone would suggest Chad Warner's not having a great season, but his player rating is down a little bit. Isaac Heaney is the query, Cane. Has his form dropped off, or has the opposition caught up to him?
His form's dropped off, and it was the big 3 last year, so no Goulden does hurt them, there's no doubt about that. Even like players like Mills, I know he didn't play a lot last year, but their injury list is long at Sydney, so I think they're asking a lot of Isaac Heaney. He was unbelievable last year, you've got to factor that in. He's not going to have that sort of season every year, but they'll be looking for more. I think they should unleash him and also Warner more in the midfield. Warner's been more forward, but I think get them inside, get them really going.
Just 55 plus is a lot.
No, just be wary with Heaney. Scott Pendlebury's been doing a really good job, shoulder to shoulder. He hasn't been tagging, but he's been just at stoppage. Did a good job on Patrick Cripps. He's really smart with his body work, especially against those bigger mids. So I reckon Pendlebury goes to Heaney in this one. Doesn't tag him, but might quell him. So potentially under Heaney's line might be the go there.
Good ruck matchup as well, Richo. Darcy Cameron is a
1v5?
very solid ruckman.
The Swans have got 5 ruckmen in their team at the moment.
But I don't think they were sold on Grundy. I think they'd given it to Grundy, and he got subbed out a couple of weeks ago, and they said, we need you to lift. And he went to Sherry on the weekend, and it was the best game I've seen him play for a while. So there is the breakdown of it. McLean and Amati, they're forwards. They're your 2 key forwards.
McLean, so I think in my heart of hearts, before Grundy arrived, McLean was going to be their number 1 ruckman.
So you don't need Laddams?
No, you don't. Well, why is he in the team? Why is it to keep Brodie Grundy honest and up for the fight? I don't really. There's no way. Round 15, there's no way that's their lineup. There's no way they could have those guys in the team. But for now, it's working.
Darcy Moore. Let's put him on the agenda. And
you might need to point.
I'm looking at you because there's a chance for you to school.
I've got a couple of pebbles in my shoe, and one of them is Norton, one of them is Darcy Moore, one of them's Tex. So I've got a few pebbles in that shoe. Yeah,
that's why you've got the
Darcy
army
Moore,
green socks.
Any chance you can play on the opposition's best player? Any chance? I don't want you on Young. No, go and play on Curnow.
I think Now, the reason I like a lot of your work is because you keep up to speed with the modern game. Their system is not built. They didn't win a premiership on the back of him playing on the number one forward. They've built a premiership on Nathan Murphy playing on that player. Now Nathan Murphy's gone. It needs to be Frampton or someone else. He is an air assist guy. He's a drop-off guy. This is his game. And I'll tell you what, I think his last couple of weeks have been quite good, if I do say so myself.
I would agree with you if he was impacting in that role. He was okay last week.
He was okay.
Tough conditions in the wet against a very ordinary ball movement side in Carlton. When he gets up against a good ball movement side, he becomes exposed. So if you're going to play on the opposition weakest forward, at least come off and have an impact aerially. I don't see enough from the Collingwood skipper.
Weakest forward, Lewis Young's a big fan of the show and he says hi. Let's move towards power forwards, which you clearly don't have Lewis in that area. You put some rankings together?
I have. Well, Kane demanded a top 5 last week, so I went away. I did my homework in between preparing our arrangements for Gather Round. And here we go. The power rankings thus far. Sam Darcy speaks for himself. His performance last week tried to single-handedly carry the Dogs over the line. But the man up the other end of the ground, Josh Tracy, I love him.
Yep.
You know where he separates himself from the others?
Where's that?
Defensively. He's a good tackler. He's top 5 for pressure in the front half of the ground. Love his game. He's evolved so much. The thrill seeker speaks for himself. He's gone, I think, 3, 3, 3 and 5 in his past handful of games. Ben King probably wins a Coleman this year, and he keeps on keeping on. The old dog is learning new tricks. Tex Walker is the 3rd rated key forward in the game, just not on my rankings. He falls to 5.
And this man, like, no arguments, number one. Like what he did, particularly in the first quarter against Fremantle, he had 10 disposals, kicked 2. It was the highest rated game that Champion Data have seen for a long time. 25 ranking points. To put that into perspective, sort of 15, 16 is a good game. He's gone 25. He does it in the air, he does it on the ground, he does it from the ruck. Best player in football right now.
Some Professor JJ. Professor JJ, can we put your top 5 rankings up? Because there appears to be an omission. There appears to be someone who is really good.
Team player you are.
Who does appear to wear orange.
Where is Hogan?
Thank you. Where's Hulk? Where's Hulk Hogan?
Coleman medalist. He's kicked 9 on the weekend, and you've got Taylor Walker there because you're too scared to leave Tex out because he'll get on the phone and say, "Oh, where am I, JJ?"
We're actually that's close to his voice too. We're actually not that close, Tex and I. I had a
Hollywood
3-game minimum. He's only played 2 games.
Well, he won the Coleman last year, so is that good enough?
I'll tell you some others.
That's an oversight, Richo.
That's right. Yeah. Come on, Fonzie. You can say you were wrong.
It's been an oversight. Well, 2 of us on this panel are happy to concede when we're wrong. Charlie Curnow, Jeremy Cameron, both should be in that list.
Yep.
Both aren't on that list on form at the moment, so both need to step up.
Okay, so there's a lot of markets in and around Sam Darcy who you've put right on the agenda at the start of the season about how good he is, and I think the footy world's are believers now.
Yeah, so the feed, I did get on him for the Coleman medal before the season had started.
Right.
So that's some good stuff on the feed if you just want to give me a follow. On the feed.
You've got over 6,000, mate. You've got plenty of followers.
If you get a winner or 2, we might. Inside 50,
yes.
So this is the second part. I think this is the most important part of that key forward ranking. So when you get it kicked to you in a one-on-one, how many contests do you win? How much of the time can you take? Because in modern-day footy, you just don't get many opportunities inside 50. Archer Reid was actually quite dangerous against Jack Buckley last week. Took a couple of really impressive marks, so there might be a player there. Larkey surprised me because he seems like a guy who needs to get on the move and get some marks on the lead, but he's clearly good in a 1v1. They need to find some more chances for him. And what about that for the Suns? That's exciting. We know about Ben King, but Ethan Reid, if he can maintain that, Jed Walter was good last week as well. So when you get your opportunities inside 50, you might only get 2 a week. You've got to make the most of them.
Great research by you. Connor Rosie is on notice for you.
Yeah, and he has been for a couple of weeks. Started the season really strongly, but then what happened, the opposition have gone, we're going to send our players to him. So Durham went to him against Essendon. We saw Windhager go to him on the weekend. And as captain of the footy club, when he is being targeted and tagged, I don't think he's performed to the level that he needs to. And we saw Horn Francis' response last week. There's Connor Rosie's market. Now, Hawthorn won't tag him, so I actually like him for 25 plus in a response there at $1.87. Butters is back in, so there's more options for the opposition to go to. But he got to be better. He's got to win more contested footy. He's got to impact when his team is struggling as a young captain. I don't think he's quite grown into the role just yet.
And time to stand up. That is an incredibly important
with
game.
everything going on with the Ken Inkley and Ginnivan stuff last year and how much they are under the pump, how disappointing Port Adelaide have been, they need a big response, prime time, Sunday night game with everything that's going to be built up around it for him to stand up and play well.
Harley Reid's another one that we've spoken a lot about this year.
Yeah, it could be the magnet move of the season.
You like it, dude.
Last year, the magnet move of the season was Dane Zorko to half-back. It completely transformed Brisbane's season. So when we get the graphic back up, have a look at Harley Reid's numbers early in the season. So he's playing mid and half forward, just wasn't touching the footy. So he's either not physically ready to play in the midfield or doesn't yet see the game well enough to be able to win the footy. You go to half-back like he did in round 4 against the Giants, 25 touches. So A, that tells me it's bloody easy at half-back to get plenty of the footy. But B, from a betting perspective, if he's going to line up in that role again, so listen to some of the narrative, the coaches will be asked about it, see what they say. If he's going to play half-back, 20 and 25 is on the cards.
It's great from a betting perspective, but I think it's an easy out for him.
I don't mind it because
just to help him find the footy.
You're just banging
get
your head
confidence.
against the brick wall. If he's physically not quite capable of playing midfield, then don't play him in the midfield. Let him go to half-back where it's a little bit easier physically. You can hand over, you can roll over. Now, that might be teaching him some bad habits as well.
I think that's exactly what it's doing.
Well, I don't mind it. I want to see it for a few weeks, particularly if he's going to get 25 and we can make a little bit of money out of it. But from his career perspective, I don't mind it just to let him see it. He got outmarked or he gave up a couple of marks in the lead against the Giants. Even that could be a good opportunity. Oh, okay, this is how hard you've got to work. This is how hard these guys are willing to work. And trailing Toby Green to a contest, maybe it teaches him a little bit.
Well, on Kane's call, Harry Sheezel was another one that you mentioned, part of this Kangaroos team that got back and a lot of handballs in defence.
Rubbish.
Rubbish stuff.
Yeah, Sheezel's too good to be playing that way. So it was 19 kicks, 15 handballs, 72% of his disposals in the back half. He's an elite kick. Like, he is one of those kicks that JJ was talking about inside forward 50 that does find a target. He had 2 entries from 34 touches. That's not the way I want him playing. I'd rather him get 24 touches and have 7 entries and 6-7 score involvements than what he had on the weekend. So once again, it's an easy out for Sheezel to go, just go and get some cheapies across half-back, take the kick-ins. I want them to challenge him more.
But get the confidence, though.
Yeah,
and
but
then
he doesn't need the confidence. He's a star of the game.
I think the team might need him down back because some of their ball use, I was at the game on the weekend, some of their ball use was Wild Wild West stuff. And have you ever seen a kangaroo hop backwards? Have you?
I haven't. They can.
But I tell you what, at Marvel Stadium the other night, I saw them hop backwards. All they did was handball the ball backwards and sideways. So 2 games this year. So in round 1, they had the number 3 ranked team for handballs, which is not a good thing. In round 1, they had 169 handballs for a total of minus 29 metres gained.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. And then on the weekend against Sydney, now credit to Sydney for their pressure.
What about Sydney?
They had 100. Well, we're talking about the Kangaroos. We'll give Sydney their flowers at some stage. Look at that turnover. In round 4 against the Swannies, 179 handballs for only 18 metres gained. So the handballs are doing, it's just hot potato. You have it, I'm under pressure, you have it, you have it. There's just no method.
That's infectious for the rest of the group as well. It's almost contagious. You give it, you give it, you give it. So Alistair Clarkson's got some real challenges that he needs to overcome with this game plan.
And can North Melbourne defeat your premiership favourites in the Gold Coast Suns?
I wouldn't have thought so. They're red hot. You laugh at me 2 weeks ago when I said that. Now it's looking a little bit better, Richo.
Mate, trust me, I'm still Team Richo in that one.
I said they can win it.
Yeah.
They can.
All 18 can.
No, I think there's only
Well,
four. I think there's only 4 or 5 that can win it, Richo, and they're one of them.
Okay, so they are certainly going in. Hey, we've got to get that shot clock up because we've got some topics that we need to get involved in. And straight away, showing emotions on the field, yes or no? Please, everyone say yes. We want that.
Probably not. Not like that.
Wait. No, pass it to me. Pass it to me.
Oh, you take it then.
Because I seem to recall you and Brodie Holland when you're wearing the... You're flipping the bird.
Yeah,
that's right. Emotions.
We're going to go back here, are we? to 2001.
Well, that's showing emotion.
Yeah, and that was the wrong thing to do. I regret that. I regret doing that. And Christian Petrarca chucking... It's just... I don't know. There's a few warning signs at Melbourne.
We don't want robots. We want personalities.
We don't. But we don't want players spitting the dummy. and that was a dummy spit.
Oh, gosh, you're harsh. But I love you anyway. Tell us what you think. Follow us. And does Roscoe tag Callum? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I reckon this is on the table. This is on the table. So he says that he never spoke to Finn Callaghan. We never even did the numbers and crunched the data on him. But I reckon they did.
Yeah.
And I reckon Ross will be sending Marcus Windhager straight to him.
So you like him for under 25?
I think so. Yeah. I reckon it's going to be a hard, old school tag. And Windhager can do it.
You agree?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. We will now put on the radar Will Day. So has to have an operation to repair a stress fracture of navicular. No blood flow in that part of the foot. That's a tough one.
This is a rough one. Like, anytime you hear that word, navicular, you actually lose your mind. And not for the first time Will Day, his body has broken down. What a season he was having, as always. Can they still win it without him? I think they still can. I thought their form without him towards the back end of the last year was really strong, but clearly it's going to make it a lot harder.
Yeah, he's their difference maker. So, look, they're a really good team. They'll be fine without him, but just you need to be more than fine. You need to be able to tip right over the edge and get it done, so he's a big loss.
So 16 weeks, I reckon he'll be out.
So around 21-ish we're talking, but heard James Hird speak about that, who's had a similar injury. He said he didn't feel right for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
did he
who
get it
knows?
pinned like he's going to do?
He's just had surgery.
Okay, so, well, good luck, Will, because he's an absolute star of the game. What about the way that we've set up Gather Round? Are you happy with Dogs Lions at Norwood, yet D's Bombers at Adelaide Oval?
Well, the Lions as reigning premiers, I know why. Look, the Lions and Dogs at Adelaide Oval maybe get 20, maybe, whereas Melbourne and Essendon should get 30.
What about Carlton and West Coast though at Adelaide Oval? Like,
Carlton, big drawing team.
There'll be 50,000 for that.
Brisbane have been hard done by in this.
Yeah, they have.
Never played on Adelaide Oval in Gather Round. They're the reigning premiers. They play an unbelievable brand of football. Give me them versus Carlton. Like, just change the fixture around. West Coast, put them at Mount Barker or Barossa or wherever they're playing.
Don't dismiss
And
Norwood.
put Brisbane on the main ground at Adelaide Oval in front of a huge
What
crowd.
did Michael Aish and Gary McIntosh do to you guys?
Good, but it's a small
That's
deck.
no good.
It doesn't lend itself to a good game of footy.
Favourite Adelaide Oval memory? Oh, I like the sound of this.
Beating the Power in most of the showdowns. Particularly when Kane was
Shots
playing.
fired.
Yeah, shots fired. Favourite, I loved the Paddy Ryder over the back to Robbie Gray stoppage goal to beat St Kilda. You remember that? Robbie Gray, one of my favourites.
What about New Year's Eve Big Bash? Adelaide Oval.
Travis Head. I was
Absolutely
there that day.
brilliant.
He went to town. It was unbelievable.
I don't even know where he plays.
And also, I'm a tourist. If I arrive at Gather Round, Kane, I heard you're taking people out at night. Give us the number one tourist
I'll
tip.
be the worst chaperone
Ever.
you have ever seen. I'll be with Jack Higgins playing PlayStation alone. But I would head down to Port Elliot and Victor Harbour, and there is the world's best bakery, and I'm sure you've been there, the Port Elliot Bakery. Lines for hundreds of metres
don't eat baked
every
goods.
lunchtime. A pasty and a
wouldn't have had a
donut from the
pasty.
Port Elliot Bakery, the best thing you will
Just
ever
watch
eat.
out for the sharks in the drink, though.
Yeah.
Very much looking forward to that. What a chaperone he would be. Hey, I tell you what, this is going to be very interesting on Kick-Ons. The Reverse Coleman coming up next. Welcome back to Kick-Ons. Defenders want an award, and we're giving them one. The Reverse Coleman. With great trepidation, we move into this area.
Well, they don't get any love in the Brownlow.
That's right.
The umpires never vote for them, so we thought we'd recognise them. No, but to be serious, this is the players that are having a bit of trouble with the opposition's key forwards.
This doesn't appear to be an award you want to win.
No, it doesn't. The one that interests me is Mark Keane at Adelaide. I'm not sure about Adelaide's key defenders. So Murray was out last week. He comes back and he helps. But if there's one thing that is maybe going to set them back from winning the premiership, I think they're a small forward short and a genuine key defender. So I like Jeremy Cameron to have a big night.
No real surprises on that list. I wasn't a part of that, so I just like.
You think that was too harsh?
I just like to remove. Well,
that was me. That was
was
all.
you?
That was all me.
there's a kid who's played one
You know
game
what?
and they put him on Jesse Hogan. He kicked 9 in a game, so that was a bit difficult.
So the Eagles are going to struggle and have a few kicks
Broady's
against
done
them.
a good job to have only 10 kicked on him,
that's-
considering
that's
how
probably
much
true.
footy's been inside 50. But I agree on the Keane point. He's a little undersized to play key back. Murray's. I'm not certain Murray's the superstar they think he is. So, yeah, it's a watch for me with the Crows.
A couple of markets there. Ben King, 3+, $1.83. But also Charlie Curnow, you're expecting a big bag up against the Coasters.
Well, he's kicked 24 goals from his past 3 games against West Coast. 24 from 3.
He looked fitter.
It is a blight on the competition when you look at awards such as the Coleman. Who plays West Coast twice? We saw Hogan kick 9. I think Texas kicked 9 against them in the past. And whoever gets to play the Eagles twice and these big key forwards dining out, that could be the difference between someone winning the Coleman or the Brownlow. And it's something that the AFL's got to look at because this is a disaster.
We can't look at. How do you look at it?
Well, you've got to penalise tanking. And that's essentially what they're doing, the Eagles.
Hang on.
Not trying to win.
Jeez, with the way
They're playing kids.
They're not. It's not as if the players aren't trying to win, but the way that they've set the club up, it's going to be rough for the next 3 years. Same with Richmond. They're not really trying to win. They're playing for draft picks, and I think the integrity of the competition deserves better. Other competitions have relegation and all that type of thing, or you have a draft lottery system like the NBA where you're not guaranteed the first pick if you finish last. Things that detract teams from tanking because it does affect all these types of awards.
Oh, gosh.
He wants him in the waffle.
Well, we need to. We'll agree to disagree on that. We need more time to be able to flesh that out because you've put something on the radar which concerns me. It's called,
Have I?
Well, apparently it's called Carn Richo.
Yes.
But I thought it was called
Carn.
Carn.
Part of the show. This is where I did contribute to this part, not the... So, Richo's Roughies on the feed. Give him a follow. He's only got a couple of thousand. I've
only just started.
I've got 9,000.
You started on sort of a couple of hundred. You're flying.
You've got bugger all. So, Richo's Roughies, what do? You find $10 or bigger, so 20 to 1, 30. Big Roughies. Hang on, what's going on here?
Well, that was different. That was for the sports bet marquee up at the races.
Straight into the favourites. Mate, anyone can pick a favourite.
Yourself.
You are.
You need a confidence builder. You need a confidence builder, Richo.
Join us on Kick-Ons, the other side.
Hey, that one too.
Headlines on a Monday for Kick-Ons.
I'm going to say, who killed Kenny? The Hawks killed Kenny. South Park, great show. I reckon this will be a bloodbath.
Not bad from you. I like that. So Jack Higgins fired at SA. Doesn't like the place. I think he's going to misfire as well against the Giants. Bit of karma there for Higo. What do you got, Richo?
I have got Bali, here we come. Because our footy trip is about to launch this week.
Wow.
I just sense this is going to be the beauty because let's be honest, you have been the stone in our shoe.
0 from 2.
Well, and 0 for a bit more. But we're about to launch. This is going to be the one. Let's have a look at our multi for our footy trip fund, and it's going to be a cracker. Who leads us away?
I'm taking us. So this is my bet here. Gold Coast to beat the Kangaroos, Carlton to beat West Coast, Fremantle to beat Richmond, the Giants to beat St Kilda, and Hawthorn to beat Port Adelaide. That's a multi. They'll all win. Tell me which team loses. None. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to lock that in. That's going to be superb for our footy trip as well. We've got our big multi as well, which is we're going to need to add to it as well. And you're leading off with a big one here at $6.
King Charles Curnow, 6+.
Sydney to beat Collingwood.
And I think Patrick Cripps will go forward at some stage and kick a goal. Just one.
He hasn't kicked one for the year.
No, that's right.
No.
So
He's got one. He got one last week.
Did he?
No,
My bad.
Did he? $19.70. So follow us on the feed. We've only got 50 followers. We need to build it. Gather round is your round. We're in your house. Look after us.
Enjoy it, people. Enjoy it. Soak it all up. The beaches, the sun, the food, the wine.
Take me back to Melbourne.
Oh, Kick-Ons. Hope you enjoyed the show.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.